What's up guys, Philip here, and I am back in the garage to take you guys with me for another home gym build. I've done one in the past. It was a $3,500 gym build, and I tailored it more towards how I would lift and what I would pick for my own home gym. And I'm going to do something similar on this one, but I want to tailor it more towards maybe your average home gym owner, somebody who is considering getting into it, but maybe doesn't specialize in barbell training and the such as much. And I started with a $2,000 budget, but as I built it out, I kind of went past that, not to $3,500, but I ended up basically building it out to give the most value for the cheapest price for the average kind of home gym owner. So with this build, I started with a power rack. Power rack is kind of the main piece in most home gyms. You can have a home gym without a power rack, but power rack's a good place to start. So I went with a Titan T2. This is Titan's 2x2 tubing power rack, and it is not as heavy duty as some of their other power racks, but it does have, I believe, an 850 pound rack pull capacity, and it is 12 gauge steel as opposed to some of the other competitors' 14 gauge steel racks. So it also has a suite of attachments available to it that are pretty high quality. So I decided on a Titan T2, and I kept it pretty basic. I believe it comes with a pair of pin and pipe safeties, a pair of J-cups. It has a pull-up bar and the such, but I believe 2 pairs of weight horns. But I did want to add an extra 4-pack of weight horns to it, and that is because I don't like standalone weight trees. It's just my personal preference. I would rather put the weights on the power rack, and that serves 2 purposes. Number 1, it gives you a place to put your weight. Number 2, if you're using the pull-up bar on the power rack and you have something like a T2, if you're a pretty substantial human being, then it's probably not going to be the most sturdy. So if you load it up with a couple of 100 pounds of plate weight, it's going to be much more stable. So for those 2 reasons, I added a 4-pack of weight plate holders. And for the Titan T2 power rack with a 4-pack of weight plate holders, it's about $470. I do have a cheat sheet, by the way. I didn't feel like memorizing all of this. So now that we have our power rack, I wanted to get a nice sturdy bench. Every home gym, I feel like, should have a bench. You can get away with not having a power rack, but you probably should have a bench. So like my other build, I still wanted one bench, and I wanted an adjustable bench because you can do your flat movements and use it for any kind of incline or decline. So I picked a flat incline bench, and that was the Rep Fitness AB3100. It's a great value bench. It has a 700 pound capacity, so for the vast majority of people, it's going to hold up. And it's a great value. It comes in at like $270. And so it's just a great starter bench at least, but you know, it's probably good enough for most people as a forever bench. So went with that. And so now that we have our power rack and our bench, I looked for a bar. And so for this build with kind of a cheap budget build, you only really have room for 1 bar, and I picked a power bar, and I picked the Bells of Steel bare naked power bar. Now, this bar is widely considered to be one of the best bars under $200. A lot of people consider it to be the best bar under $200, and that the raving reviews are reciprocated across very many respected channels, very respected opinions. So I am going to put my trust on them. I've never personally used it, but where there's smoke, there's fire, and it's widely considered to be a great bar. So under $200, It's got a pretty high tensile strength, pretty good knurling. It calls it an aggressive knurling. It's a 20 kg bar, 44 pounds, and it's just a great bar to start with, especially at that price tag, and it does have free shipping. So the Rep products that I talk about and the Titan products that I talk about all have free shipping. This Bells of Steel bar also has free shipping. So we have our bar, a good bar. The one bad thing about this Bells of Steel bar that I can think of off the top of my head is it does have a bare steel shaft. If you are in a more humid environment, it is going to require more upkeep. So that is something to think about, but if you're willing to do the upkeep on the bar, it's going to give you the best bang for your buck of really any bar that's out there at that price tag, at the budget price tag. So with our bar, we now have a rack, a bench, and a bar, but we need weights to put on that bar. So with a home gym, unless you're going to build a deadlift platform, if you are deadlifting any substantial amount of weight, you need to have a plate that will dampen that impact, or some kind of silencer pad or something like that. So I did not include a deadlift platform in this, but I did make my plates bumper plates. And so I like iron plates, but for most home gym owners, I would consider bumper plates to be the best. They do take up more space on the bar, but unless you're going to be, lifting 500-600 pounds pretty regularly, it's not going to make much of a difference. So the plates that I decided to go with for my main weight was the Rep high temp bumper plates. These are going to be your more like crumb rubber. They're going to be thicker, less refined, but for most home gyms, I think that's fine. They might be a little bouncier, but I went with 3 pairs of 45s and 1 pair of 25s. And so that's going to give you quite a bit of weight to use for your bar. I mean, even without any kind of change plates, that would give you 365 pounds once it's loaded on a bar. And that would be about $690 plus whatever tax. It is free shipping because it's Rep Fitness. So I have my 45s and my 25s. We discriminate against 35s here. It's just how it is. So no 35s. Sorry for some of you guys. But after I added those, I went ahead and went with a Rep iron change plate to get my 10s, my 5s, my 2.5. So I went ahead and priced out 4 pairs of 10s, 2 pairs of 5s, and 2 pairs of 2.5s. And you'll see why I did that in a second. But that came out to $312 plus whatever tax and free shipping since it is Rep. So with that, I'm not very good at math, but that's going to give you over 400 pounds to use on your bar. So moving on to that, we have our weight now, and we have our rack, we have our bench, we have our bar, and we have our weight. So we have all of our really heavy compound movements covered, and we have a pretty considerable amount of weight to use for those heavy compounds. But in a home gym, you need other little gadgets, other little things that are kind of force multipliers, if you will, that really add a lot of value for not very much money. So in this gym build, I did want to include dumbbells, but most of your quick change and your adjustable dumbbells are going to be more expensive. So I did go ahead and go with a pair of Titan's 15-inch loadable Olympic dumbbell handles. That is going to run you $90, and this is why I added the 4 pairs of 10s, the 2 pairs of 5s, and the 2 pairs of 2.5s. I believe they're like 8.2 pounds a piece, and so you're going to be able to load up on each dumbbell handle about 55 to 60 pounds. I don't want these dumbbells to be super heavy because I feel like loadable Olympic dumbbell handles are a little bit unwieldy anyways, so I don't want them going up heavy enough to be doing like presses with them and all that, but I do want them for your lateral raises, for your reverse flies, for your curls, for your dumbbell skull crushers, those kinds of exercises that you really can't replicate with a barbell. So with that, we kind of have our nuts and bolts, and we have a pair of dumbbell handles to do some of those movements. So you're pretty much covered for any kind of movement that you would like to do. So to just add a few things to finish out this build, we are going to add 2 pairs of Clout Fitness barbell collars. That's going to run you about $30. They're about 15 bucks a pair. They're pretty well regarded as a budget collar, and I really don't think you need a super fancy collar if you're not doing the coop test. So you're going to have your collars for your dumbbell handles. That's why you need 2 pairs. And you're also going to have a backup pair for your barbell in case one pair shoots crap. So 30 bucks for barbell collars, and those are your lockjaw type. They're not spring collars. So I like those collars much better. So you have that. You're also going to add a pair of gymnastics rings. Gymnastics rings, I've said it once, I'll say it again, and you'll hear this from a lot of people. Gymnastics rings, there's no better way to add exercises to your repertoire for less money. You can do so many things with them. They are so fantastic. You can do ring push-ups, ring dips, ring pull-ups. You can do reverse flies on them. You can do face pulls. You can do curls, skull crushers, all kinds of things. Whatever you can think of with rings, you can do it. And so again, I picked the double circle gymnastics rings. They're $50 on Amazon plus whatever tax. And if you have Prime for any of these Amazon pieces, you have free shipping as well. So I like these because they're a carabiner style as opposed to a cam buckle. So they're very easy to adjust, and they are very simple to use and set up and take down. And they're a wooden gymnastics ring. They feel really good. So gymnastics rings, gotta add them. Kind of finishing up this build, I would get 1 set of Canway resistance bands. These are gonna run you about $30 right now. You get 4 different resistance bands. I have them personally, and I've been using them for a while, and I got them because Gluck recommended them, and I can kind of echo the sentiment that they work just like resistance bands should, and they've held up thus far. So you definitely want those because in this build, you don't have any kind of pulley machine, and so to get a good lat activation, a good lat exercise in, you have to use the pull-up bar on the rack. So these these resistance bands will help assist you on your pull-ups if you can't do pull-ups with your own body weight without assistance. They can assist you on a bunch of other things, any kind of dips you might do, and they can also make exercises harder. And you can use them for warming up, stretching, all kinds of stuff. So resistance bands, very versatile for a cheap price. So add those in, and to finish the build up, I went with 4 4-foot by 6-foot Tractor Supply Co. stall mats. Again, I have these in my home gym. I really like them. I know some people complain about an odor, but I've never personally noticed really much of an odor as far as they are concerned. So I'm gonna go with that. That's gonna give you a pretty good little space to work out on. You can add a few more in if you would like, but you know, I would say that's a pretty good place to start, is that's gonna give you a pretty good area to lift on. So that is my build in its entirety. This build is gonna give you the capability to do heavy compounds with a pretty substantial amount of weight, and it's gonna give you the capability to do a wide range of calisthenics exercises and dumbbell exercises. So this, all in all, before tax, was coming out to $2,362, so $2,362 for this build. Pretty much everything that I talked about you can get without, you know, shipping, or you get it with free shipping. So I didn't factor that in, but I did want to factor in a tax. I know here it's about 9.5%, but I went ahead and factored in a 10% sales tax if that does apply to you in your state. But with a 10% sales tax, that turns it into $2,598.20 all in. So sneaking right under $2,600, and it's going to give you complete capabilities. And it's just a great all-around build, guys. So tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you would do differently, what you agree with, maybe disagree with. I promise not to get mad at you. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys later.